All right, so we have the Mike Tomlin post-game press conference from the game versus the Browns in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers did win. We got our payback, though. They said that it wasn't about getting payback; it was about getting right. Which, I mean, you're gonna say that. I'm sure there was a little itty bit of payback somewhere. So, yeah, we are going to see what Mike Tomlin has to say and go from there. Excuse me, I'll adjust something on my phone. I'm paying attention to fantasy, and it's important for me to make the playoffs. So, let's see what Mike Tomlin said.
First I just want to say congratulations to the Hall of Honor honorees, Dick LeBeau, Willie Parker, Jason Gilden, Casey Hampton. And I had an opportunity and the blessing to work with three of those four men. Obviously, I've known Jason since I've been here, and they're so deserving of the honor. And I'm glad that we were able to do our part in terms of making this a really good weekend for them. They are deserving of that. And so just want to tip the cap to those guys. Appreciative of the efforts in game. It didn't start off the way we would like in terms of fluidity. We weren't converting third downs there early on, but the guys found their traction. I appreciate the defense providing some short fields and some splash in the effort to kind of get us going. It's a team game in that way. And then obviously the special teams with a splash play down the stretch to get us out of the stadium, man. That's what teams do. They make plays in all three phases. They uplift one another. When a certain component of it isn't rolling as smoothly as you'd like. Thankful for the win. It's AFC North football, and we'll take it and keep moving. On the injury front, man, we had a bunch of bumps and bruises associated with play. I think the only thing that's really worth mentioning at this point is Larry Ogunjobi went out with a groin in the first half or so, maybe second quarter, and he wasn't able to return. I have an update on Tuesday for you guys regarding some of those other ones. GP, was listed as questionable. We didn't feel like he was going to be able to play the type of number of snaps that we thought would be worth putting him in a uniform, to be quite honest with you. We didn't want a small problem to become a big problem, and so we put a helmet on Scotty Miller, and as you can see, most of the time when you put the helmets on the healthy guys, man, they take care of the rest. Scotty made some plays for us, and thankful for that. That's another example of the team component of this game, man. You can waste a lot of time worried about the guys that are unavailable to you. We choose to focus our energies on the guys that are available to us, their preparedness, and then ultimately their play. Tip of the cap to Scotty Miller, man, stepping up and making some big plays for us. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Big catch from Mike Williams, too. Without George, what did you find out about your passing game or your receivers without him?
It's what we've been kind of discovering or rediscovering throughout every component of this process. You guys were asking us about our lack of quote unquote a number two in team development, and the guys made plays. Whoever we throw the ball to makes plays. The strength of the pack is the pack. We got a bunch of guys that want to be the reasons why we're successful, and when given an opportunity, I think they continually prove that, whether it's Scotty or Mike or Calvin or whoever, Van. We believe in our group. I know I've said that to you guys repeatedly. Maybe you'll start believing me.
Mike, you said that obviously the defense set up the offense a little bit, but what led to its better fluidity, do you think, in the second half?
I think just settling down and getting a feel for maybe how they were playing us. Sometimes it's that component of it, man. Jim Schwartz has been around a long time. He's a savvy coordinator. He did some nice things schematically.
Did they change it all with George not out there, how they were played? Could you tell?
You'd have to ask them that.
Fair.
You mentioned a lot of younger players, and I talked with Joe Hayden about that recently. And it looks like the younger players like B.D. Bishop, number 15, and Nick Herbig, they're starting to respond to the next man
51.
up. Mentorship from you. What's your take on that?
They're capable people. I don't want to absorb any of the credit that they deserve, man. I hadn't made a football play in a long, long time. Most of those guys you mentioned made plays today, man. They're deserving of the credit. They work hard. They prepare themselves. They're not intimidated by the environment, although they lack experience. And I think that's the key ingredient.
Specifically, what were your points of emphasis operationally to stop the long drives that you had been giving up on defense in this particular game? You didn't give them up.
I don't know that we've been giving up a whole bunch of long drives. I disagree with you there.
Coach, what would you say about the defense and Canu Benton? That interception that he had was a turning point, I thought, for the offense to get the offense going.
You know, sometimes when you're struggling a little bit to gain some traction, man, the short field will get you going. Man, can't say enough about that play. KB is a young guy that's evolving in a big way, and I just think that play is an example of it.
Mike, can you speak to the value of Russell's running ability today?
You know, we don't want to make a living doing so, man, but, you know, we're also willing to take what the defense gives us. And he's a sharp guy. We trust his decision-making, not only in terms of whether to give or to keep, but to keep himself safe in terms of getting down. I thought he did a nice job of all of those things.
Like at this stage in the season, they make a couple of mistakes, miss field goals, Keanu with an interception, and the offense capitalizes. At this point in December, you know, how crucial is it for you guys to be able to capitalize when situations like that arise?
It's complementary football is what you're talking about and what we focus on. We got to build off of positivity. That's what good teams do this time of year. Somebody makes a play to the other side of the ball, backs it up, and so forth. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to play complementary football, like whether it's putting the fire out or building upon the good. I just like the trajectory of our group in that regard, but it's needed. As the road gets narrow, man, you got to play really good complementary football in an effort to keep rolling.
Coach, your thoughts on just the continued pressure that you put on Winston from Cam Hayward, along with, I was trying to remember the other one. It was Cam Hayward. I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry.
You know, we got to ride the wave that four-man rush provides, man. We put a lot of time in terms of developing that group and acquiring talent in that space. We're not bashful about that. Our bigs set the pace for us, and then our littles obviously closed the door, and so I'm just appreciative of those efforts, and good to have Alex Highsmith back in the fold.
Yes, it was.
Just thankful for the consistent pressure that they were able to put on them today.
What can you say about Russ's handling of the game today? You know, early start, Browns getting after it a lot. Second half seemed like you guys made a lot of adjustments.
You know, Russ has been in this thing a while. You know, he's not going to shrink in the face of adversity. He's just seen too much. I thought he was steady, but equally as important, I thought he kept the group steady until we found our footing.
Mike, to your earlier comment about George, do you expect him to be available for next week?
We can talk about that on Tuesday. It's just premature at this point. I'd be speculating, and I don't want to mislead anyone.
About Scotty Miller stepping up. Ben Skoranek has the recovery. Mike Williams makes the big catch to set up the touchdown. How much did that factor in your view of those guys filling in when George was out?
You know, like I said, man, we just try to make a conscious effort to focus on the guys that are available to us. We respect them as professionals and playmakers, and you know, with the efforts that you mentioned, they make that philosophical approach real. They confirm it continually, and so I'm thankful for that.
All right, so just to go over a couple notes I made. So yes, congratulations to the 4 Hall of Honor inductees. And then all 3 phases, like he brought up as well, you had, you know, the offense could score, the defense could make a stop, or if they didn't make a stop let me start over. If the offense couldn't score, the defense could get a stop. If the defense couldn't get a stop, the offense could score. What else? If and then you had a couple of big special teams plays, turnovers, both in special teams and on defense. The one interception by Keanu Benton, fantastic play, where he read the screen and was able to go run and make the play. And then the interception by James Pierre and the fumbled punt reception or punt fielding, I don't even know what you want to call it, by Kadarius Toney of the Browns, and then recovered by Ben Skoranek, who he taunted earlier. So great job there. Just all three phases had some good plays or some not good plays. Right out on the kickoff of the second half, you had what was his name? Jerome Ford. You had him returning, and he got a great return. Now, luckily, Dustin Hopkins missed the field goal, and it resulted in no points. So the defense held them to a certain amount of yards, and the field goal, nothing. So it's good to come out where you only have one person with a rather significant injury, and everyone else is just the bumps and bruises. Larry O with that groin injury, we'll see how that affects him. Groin injuries are not always fun for these players. Sometimes they're able to play through them, other times they aren't. I think it was Mike Mitchell who had like a groin injury the entire season, one of the years he was here, and he just played through it. George Pickens, they're just being cautious with it, and a lot of people did not like the decision to be cautious about it. I did. I really thought that it was going to be good to rest him, because if you figure, right, let's say he plays versus Cleveland, and this happened with Mike Evans in Tampa, but I'll get to that in a second. If he plays and he just makes it worse, well, now you lost him for the remainder of the Cleveland game, but then you also lose him for Philly, for Baltimore, probably for Kansas City. Like, you're going to be looking at getting him back for the playoffs. Whereas rest him versus in this game, and then you can potentially have him for those games. Now, Mike Tomlin said we'll see Tuesday, which is the day you guys are watching this. But for it to be, even if he just misses Philly, let's say, just misses the Philly game, well, then we still get him for Baltimore and KC and Cincinnati the last week of the season, if that game means anything as far as seeding or division. And then we'll see what his availability is. Scotty Miller, heck of a catch. Mike Williams, heck of a catch. Let's see. Give me just a minute. Okay, this is going to be a 48-yarder for Aubrey, I think. I'm watching the Bengals and Cowboys game. And let's see. I have T. Higgins and Brendan Aubrey. Opponent has Rico Dowdle and Jamar Chase. And right now, the combination of Dowdle and Chase is doing a lot better than Higgins and Aubrey. It's a good thing I was up by an okay amount, but right now it's going to be close. And the unfortunate thing is Arizona's defense cost me points. So if I hadn't done that, then maybe I'd be in a better situation. So, and then he talked about the depth behind George Pickens has really been questioned. And I don't think this game really silenced people about that. Like, yeah, you won without him. But it was Cleveland. And, Russ had 140, 150, somewhere in that ballpark, passing yards. So, let's see. Okay, and then a couple little notes. Mike Tomlin didn't break this up. No one asked him about it, but just a couple things I wanted to bring up. If we beat the Eagles next week, it will clinch a playoff berth, which I don't know if we're going to beat them or not. We'll have to see. But if we do, we clinch a playoff spot. Even if we lose to them, if we can manage to beat the Ravens the week after, we will win the division, because that will guarantee us 11 wins. That will guarantee Baltimore at least 6 losses. And at that point, both teams could could be 11-6. That's as close as they could be. And because Pittsburgh beat them twice, you break the tie. So if you beat Baltimore, you win the division. So that's just what's coming up. So we will watch the players in the next video. So if you guys are excited for that, please leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.